Hello my friends, today we will review a full game of Caliste SoloQ gameplay. Today he's playing Viktor, he played AEWC today and they just got into the finals with an absolutely godlike performance, especially on his Ezreal game. Who am I to tell you though, I was a full-time pro player as well, AD carry man, and now let's go straight into it. So the first thing that Caliste is basically doing is covering his Tribosh, or I would rather say he's just waiting for his support to connect, because his support, Pyro in this example, was hovering mid lane, so now he's chilling because he knows if he puts down a ward, the enemies will probably just clear it, right? Because every single time the enemies have a better 2v2, they will just go for vision in lane. So the moment his Camille connects, he's actually just going back to lane. They get a quick chunk on Shen, so Shen skilled E level 1, Caliste skill Q on Viktor level 1. So I would say they have like a pretty good matchup, level 1, that they can like easily play. He's just trying to get some Qs in basically. You see the enemies are not really doing much. He sees their body language, so probably what he wants to do is play the first one, maybe the first two pretty slow, and then look for potential crash. You see, every single time he has his Q back up, he's running up onto the enemy, just trying to trade. In this example, though, he's not stepping up too deep because he's potentially scared of Shen just E-flashing him. He could potentially die if they actually just flash on him. So now he hovers. In my opinion, this is pretty good what he's doing, because he is probably fake warding. I'm not sure, he's not running that deep, but he's like standing here. He's probably fake warding. We can check real quick if the enemies are actually pinging that he warded. They are not, but I think this is his intention, to just fake ward. Now they get level 2, level up timer, okay. They're just getting a big chunk, right? And now they first push. And now they just slow push the first two waves, so this is third wave. They are still playing it pretty slow because he just wants to chunk. He knows, okay, the Tristana is already in a pretty bad spot. So what he's doing now is just chilling. He's full HP. He knows, okay, I can just slow push. I still have TP. So the most important wave for them should probably be the fourth wave, which is coming in now. You see that Lee Sin is clearing to bot lane, so probably the scuttle will be really important, and Caliste makes sure that he will be ready for it. Now Tristana is actually just recalling full on vision, honestly, so it's a pretty bad decision by her. Caliste is just pushing this wave in. They're playing for a dive here and just getting a free kill. Really nice. Now, really important, he is not trying to push in this wave, like he's not touching it, anything. He just let this wave bounce into his side and is pressing B. So now he's just recalling. He gets his item. He's not using his TP. Really important. We can learn from this. The reason he's not going for his TP is he sees Tristana's hard pushing anyways, and there is no reason to TP, because if he would TP, he would not lose anything, and if he walks, he will maybe lose one minion. Yeah, he lost one minion, and that's never worth to TP. So he's holding his TP. Really good decision by him. He's just keeping the slow push, so no for fun hitting at all. He's just slow pushing, not doing anything, playing slow, trying to hit ease onto the enemy. The classic mage gameplay, I would say. He's a bit scared here of Shen. His Camille was looking for a roam timer, but the Tristana, also really important. He basically sees the Tristana body language is like so passive that he probably doesn't need to be scared. So he's going for ward, just looking to get some ease in. Pretty chill gameplay, nothing special. Playing for dive, probably a bit deep, but what's really important is that Caliste is not like continuing for the dive or trying like really hard to kill this Tristana, because it's already pretty good for him. The wave is bouncing to him, so he knows, okay, if they're just getting a chunk on Tristana, Camille dies, it's still fine. So what he's doing now, just chilling, not pushing the wave, just keeping it on his side. Kind of maintaining the freeze here, hovers a bit to the dragon, really good. So now he got his E upgrade, he's still maintaining the freeze. The moment Tristana jumps in, he's just using his spells. It's the classic mage gameplay. Now he took his reset, he's still not going for TP, because in his eyes there's no reason to TP here, because why would he? There's no wave to take. He's just checking bushes slowly. Next sequence, really important. Caliste just died, but it doesn't really matter. He TPs back to lane. Really good that he saved his TP. He's just hard pushing because he doesn't know where Shen ohms yet. And now, really important, we can learn from this. Shen ohms top lane, or basically he shows top lane. So now what he's doing is he knows, okay, I'm 1v1. And 1v1 against Tristana, especially if Tristana has no barrier, is really easy for him to play. So what he's doing is just stepping up, trying to poke the Tristana here. You see he's using his W, all his E's all the time. He's not really giving Tristana any sort of space to breathe. And this one also really important. So now he actually fogs into river. He's going for a ward, and a lot of players would just run melee onto the lane right now. What he's doing instead though is he's actually walking around trying to sneak into this bush. And this doesn't mean that he wants to go for a kill or something, but it can also just be a chunk that he can potentially get here by just using his E on Tristana. So really creative from him. You see he's actually getting a big chunk onto the Tristana. 2 spells, really nice. This is something we can immediately implement in our games as well. So now maybe after 1 or 2 more E's, I would say, he probably has a dive window because he got the E before. And you see, this also enables his support to come bot lane. And now the Tristana is like pretty cooked, I would say. This also really important. He's pushing in the wave. The plate is still full HP. So what a lot of people would do now is either play for the plate and then reset, which would be pretty bad, right? Or what a lot of people would also do is actually go base in this bush basically, or move out of it. But if there's nothing that you need to be scared of and the enemies know that you're resetting anyways, then you can also just base on vision. It's no issue. So now he's basing on vision, and really important here is that he's actually opening to mid lane at minute 11 already, which is really, really nice. He wants to kind of get himself going into this game, and you see he's chilling in this bush again, not trying to die, but he's looking to chunk the enemy for taking vision. Also really important fundamental for all your AD carry mains out there. If the enemy support is trying to get any sort of vision and you can chunk them basically for free, then you can just do it. Okay, so now I would say the mid game is like starting. So mid waves are really, really important. You see he's basically still trying to do the same on these mid waves, like always trying to chunk the Tristana in this sequence here. He's not respecting the TF move, so sadly he dies. Okay, back on map. Just opening mid lane again. He's hitting turret. You see he's never really moving. He's trying to take the waves really high, so really aggressive. Already trying to get an E onto the enemy, because the higher you take a wave, the more tempo, or like basically opportunities you will get on the map to play for. You see he's hovering, taking red, going back to next mid, so always making sure he gets this priors in. You see next mid wave, not really moving top or not really looking to do anything, even though a lot of people are fighting on side lane right now. He's just focusing on himself and actually playing his own waves, which is really, really good, and a lot of AD carries do wrong by just randomly moving anywhere on the map. And here you can see like how important this mid prio is for him, because a lot of people would take all of these honey fruits, but he's just getting 3 of them, so he's earlier back on mid wave again to just making sure this is getting in. Okay, so now the moment comes where he actually has 2 items. He is going proto belt second. I think a really good choice, especially when you're playing an immobile mage. Currently proto belt is way too cheap, and you're basically just having a mobile spell, so you can dash with this item. Next sequence that is pretty nice to see is that here's a mid wave, and a lot of players would probably play for this mid wave, but they are already pretty far behind. So I would say this mid wave is not even that important, if it's even contestable. Like, this is debatable. But he now sees that Varus is alone on bot lane, even though they have Shen ulti up. He's not going back to mid lane. He's rather playing for the fight and looking to get the shutdown onto the Varus. So now he gets a kill here for free and is just receiving next mid wave afterwards. By this, he's actually getting another large rod. And you also see him here. He's not only pushing out 1 wave on top lane, no, he's actually pushing out 2 waves. Because a lot of people, I already see this in my coachings, a lot of people would just push 1 wave and now move back to mid lane. But the issue is, if you only push 1 wave, then your wave will be kind of stuck here. And by actually touching the next wave, then you have like many opportunities basically. You can either continue top lane, take this turret, you can play for the TP here, you can basically do anything. So now he takes the next top lane wave, and now we will see what he's doing. He sees, okay, Drake is not really contestable, so he's just gaining gold on top lane, and he continues. So he still continues, the enemies are not answering. You see, he's not panic TPing down, because he sees, okay, the enemies are trolling, and his team is slightly winning. So what he's doing is just getting gold on side lane. You can also have this as a takeaway on normal AD carries, for example. If you see windows where you can just go side lane and actually get tons of gold by pushing out, like, what, 5 waves or something he pushed here, like maybe even more, and he got 2 turrets. So now let's look at his gold. He has 2.3k gold actually. So now he is Omega strong. So he decided to actually go for Rabadons and now get a Banshees. I mean, that's pretty nice. Also against TF ulti. Basically what happened in this game is that they actually stole Nash and came back by this. What Caliste is doing, you will always see he's taking such high priority on these kind of mid waves. So you see he's actually taking this mid waves, then he's making sure he fogs into bot side. Doesn't do anything because he probably doesn't have a good base. So now he's immediately onto the next mid wave again and takes it again, fogs afterwards immediately again. And now he sees, okay, Varus is overstaying, it's his timer because he pushed out his mid wave, and this is perfect for him. The mid wave was pushed, he has first move, and it's really easy to put this into your games as well, especially when playing AD carry. Keep having an eye on your mid prios, and you see how many opportunities you will actually get to play the game. Because if you're dropping every single mid wave or like every single mid prio, then it's really hard to always connect to plays, because you will always be the second one moving. Now nothing is really happening. It's just the last team fight where they're actually getting a good position, and you see Caliste is not really stepping up to actually join this fight. He's just letting his teammates play, and the moment he sees, okay, I can connect to the fight now by putting in my spells, he's actually doing it. So I would say the biggest takeaway is that Caliste is like such a consistent player. Like, he's not doing a lot of mistakes by is still playing really aggressive and also being aware of the enemy numbers. So the moment the enemies do any sort of mistakes on the map, he immediately punishes. And what's also nice to mention is that he gives a lot about these mid priors, but also when he's behind, for example, in this one frame where they actually went for the Varus, then he's actually also able to move into sidelane, for example. I hope you found this helpful. Feel free to give me any sort of feedback basically in the comments or write me on Discord or anything. And then I'm wishing you a nice day. Goodbye.